Perfect.
Welcome to T4G Sports. Today we're going to give pass fails on every one of the players in the first round. And we'll give a little history as to why. Who do you guys think, as we're going through this, when it comes to your favorite team, what do you like that you guys did? What do you like that some of the other teams did? What don't you like? Feel free to let us know in the comments below. And without further ado, make sure to hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and let's jump into it. Let's start with Cam Ward. Cam Ward was a no-star out of high school. He was a no-star prospect. Okay, he comes out, he goes to some small school, works his way up, then goes to, I believe, Washington State. He works his way up again, then goes to Miami. And everywhere you saw, he didn't just start at zero, he started negative. And he's willed his way to the starting position. And not only that, he's willed his way to become basically the guy who wins the games for his team. Miami had no defense last year. Zero defense. Virginia Tech should have beat him. They should have beat him. But Cam Ward said no. And he put his team on his back and said, I'm going to win you games. So for me, I think that Tennessee pulling the trigger on this, I think it's a pass for me. Even if he doesn't pan out, I think you're getting a guy who has started from the trenches and has worked his way all the way up to where you got to give him his respect and say, hey, I'm willing to take a chance on you. And I think he was the clear quarterback in here where it was like, you're easily the top guy, in my opinion. I like Cam Ward a lot, so I'm impressed with him. I'm giving Tennessee a pass. Next up, let's talk Jacksonville moving up. I'm going to give this one a fail, not because of Travis Hunter, but because I don't understand what Jacksonville is doing here. You moved from the 5th spot all the way up to the 2nd spot, and you did exactly what everyone thought Cleveland was going to do. Was just, oh, Cleveland's just going to go draft Travis Hunter. And look, Travis Hunter is a freak of nature. The man's a specimen. There's no question. But here's what I have an issue with. Did this move you one step closer to the playoffs? I'm not so sure. And on top of it, you just gave away your draft capital next year. You gave away your first-round pick to Cleveland next year. And that is a quarterback class coming out. That's what it's supposed to be, at least. So what I don't understand is if you don't need a quarterback, right? You have Trevor Lawrence. Well, even if you're a top 3 pick, let's just say you bank on the fact that, well, maybe we won't be so successful. You bank on that fact. And hopefully you don't want to bank on that fact, but let's just be realistic. Let's be real with ourselves here. Your team kind of struggles, okay? And it struggled for a long time. So let's just say you don't do good. It's a quarterback class. You don't need a quarterback. You trade that away for gold. And you get really good players. Because when it's a good quarterback class, they will move heaven and earth to move up just a few spots to draft a quarterback that they like who's somewhat good. So I love Travis Hunter in his play, but I don't love how they went about it. Because especially with coming into next year and there being a heavy quarterback class that you could utilize that draft capital. And I really don't think Travis Hunter is going to be able to play both ways effectively. Everything just became exponentially tougher. Okay, you're talking the playbook. Learning the playbook for one position, let alone two, on different sides of the ball is insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay, and on top of which, he did show that he did get injured. He would come back. He's extremely tough. He did get injured when playing at CU in the Big 12. And now you're not just playing against the Big 12, you're playing against the best of the Big 10, the best of the SEC, best of the ACC, best everywhere, right? And you're playing multiple years of that. And so to me, I'm concerned because I do think Travis Hunter is not heavy enough to be able to play 100% of the time both ways. And I think even if you gain weight, I'm not sure you'd be able to do it effectively both ways and not get injured, So I give this one a fail, not because it's Travis Hunter, but just because of how they went about it. New York Giants getting Abdul Carter. Look, the Big Ten has been the most dominant conference in the last 2 years in a row. And Abdul Carter has been the most dominant, absolutely terrifying. Ass coordinators, ass offensive lineman. The man's a freak. He comes from Penn State, which has a pedigree of sending NFL players into the league consistently. And so, yeah, you got to draft this guy. I definitely give him a pass, no doubt. Even if he doesn't pan out, there's no way you can't say, oh, you shouldn't have picked him up. Bullshit. Let's talk Will Campbell. Not my number one offensive tackle, but damn close enough. The other offensive tackle we're talking about got injured. So I think the Patriots going and getting Will Campbell, I think you're getting a dog. I think it's a smart move. I really do. I love this pick. It's a pass for me. Mason Graham from Michigan. Double pass. Not only a double pass with who you got, it's a double pass on how you got him. You got Mason Graham and still moved back and got a first-round pick of next year as well, which is just astonishing. A lot of people gave Ohio State a lot of crap for losing to Michigan, particularly because of how they decided to attack Michigan. They decided to run on Michigan, which is really stupid because Michigan had 2 NFL D tackles, which is Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. These guys are monsters, all right? If you want to know how Michigan won the Natty years prior, or 2 years ago, you're looking at him, okay? You're looking at him. He's one of the guys. The other guy is Grant. And they're monsters, okay? Ohio State got a lot of crap for losing to them. Then Alabama has to play them at the end of the year. And what happened to Alabama? They lost. Well, you couldn't run on them. Wasn't very effective because they had 2 NFL defensive tackles. And not only NFL defensive tackles, starters, and potentially Pro Bowlers, and even potentially Hall of Famers if these guys get to their highest level. So, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love this pickup. Double pass for me. And then we got Ashton Jeanty. This one's a pass because it's Jeanty, but I'm very nervous about this because the Boise State only had 1 move. It's like a character that's crappy. However, they have the one spinning kick that'll just chop your legs out and they'll just spam the shit out of it over and over and over. And it makes it really annoying to play them. That's Ashton Jeanty in Boise State. Ashton Jeanty was the 1 move. That was it. He was the 1 move. Give him the ball. Oregon knew they were going to give him the ball, and he still rushed for a crap load of yards on them and almost won them that game, but Oregon won based on special teams. So I'll give him a pass on this. I'll say let it play out because if he equals to what he can equal, no one's going to care that they drafted him the 6th overall pick. He is a beast. Absolutely a beast. So I got to give him a pass. I'm nervous about it, but I got to give him a pass. Now let's talk Armand Membu. From Missouri. He's not my number 1 offensive tackle, but he's a pass on this. There's no way I can say that this was a fail in my opinion. That one's a pass. And then we got McMillan. Guy's a monster. 6'4", 220 pounds. He single-handedly destroyed CU. And that's not tough to destroy CU's defense because their defense was just not that good. However, when you're one guy doing it, you got to take notice. McMillan's a beast. And on top of which, he's a big frame guy. You got a small quarterback in Bryce Young. You're protecting your previous investments in Bryce Young, and I like that. So, definite pass for me. Kelvin Banks going to the Saints. I give this one a pass, not only because you got Kelvin Banks. He's not my number 1 offensive tackle, but I like him enough to where I think this is a good pull. And on top of which, you didn't go with what everyone thought you were going to go with, which is a quarterback. You double down, got your trenches shored up. I like what I see here. There's a guy who I think is better, but I still like this enough to where I'll give him a pass. The Chicago Bears protecting their previous investment in Caleb Williams and going to get Colston Loveland. He's not my number 1 tight end, but he's my 1.1. Okay, he's really good. Really, really good. And Michigan had no quarterback play, like at all. No quarterback play. And they could have brought out their kicker and almost kicked balls more accurate to the receivers than they threw the balls. But he was still productive. I mean, just insane. So Colston Loveland to me is an easy bet that, hey, we're going to get a guy who's going to be very successful. And if he isn't successful, I would be shocked. So double pass. You're protecting your investment, on top of which you're getting an absolute stud. And you're getting Michael Williams out of Georgia for the 49ers. I'm going to give this one a pass. I think if you put him into a situation where he gets to learn from Nick Bosa and just some of the guys that they have accumulated over the years, one thing about the 49ers is they just really do draft good defensive players. And so I think if you put him into that system, you could get so much out of this guy, and he could be an absolute freak. So definite pass for me. If he doesn't pan out, it is what it is. You know, hindsight's 20/20, but you just can't go wrong with taking a bet on a guy like this. You just can't. Dallas Cowboys drafting Tyler Booker. I like Tyler Booker, but I'm going to give this one a fail. Not because of Tyler Booker, just because if the other guy got drafted, this would be a pass. But because there's another guy out there that they're passing up on, I'm giving this a fail. because the other guy that I'm talking about is a monster. He is a juggernaut. And I don't know what they saw in Tyler Booker that was like he is that much better than the other guy on this. I don't know. I don't make sense of it whatsoever. So I'm going to give this one a fail just because there was another guy out there I think is a monster. And I still think Tyler Booker could be an absolute freak. So it has nothing to do with Tyler Booker and his ability. It just has to do with there's another guy out there who I really think highly of. And so that's why I have this as a fail. But still, at the end of it all, Tyler Booker can be a household name. Kenneth Grant going to Miami, double pass for me. Double pass. The man's a absolute manimal. I'm pretty sure they just fed him baby goats like smothered in motor oil or something. The guy's a freak. Double pass. He was the other defensive tackle I was talking about out of Michigan, who's an NFL defensive tackle, and Miami just pulled him out of the woodworks there. So, congratulations, Miami. You just got yourself a monster. The Indianapolis Colts double pass, triple pass, quadruple pass. In my opinion, Tyler Warren's the number one tight end in this draft. I think you could argue he's probably the number one tight end in several, and I love Sam Laporta. You guys know how I felt about Sam Laporta if you followed that. I was going against everyone saying Sam Laporta was a dog. And I got to say, I love Sam Laporta, but I don't know if I could pass up on Tyler Warren even for Sam Laporta. I don't know if I could. I just don't think I can because this guy's 6'6", 256 pounds. The guy plays like he's 6'10", 480 pounds. He could do everything. He literally can do everything. He could run block, he could freaking catch, he could throw, he could do anything. I don't think there's anything he can't do. And if I had to say someone was better than Colston Loveland, that's crazy, right? Just in and of itself, because I think Colston Loveland's a monster. But Tyler Warren is that one guy. So Colts triple pass. This guy's a freak. You're going to love him if you're a Colts fan. Love him. Then you got the Falcons drafting Jalen Walker. I'm going to give it a pass. If you get the full capabilities of Walker, you're going to be absolutely tickled shitless. Okay? So I just think that there's so much to like about him that, yeah, you could maybe look at some things and go, could they have drafted this or could they have drafted that? Whatever. But I can't fault them for drafting a guy who is just a stud and has a potential to be a stud in the NFL. I just can't do it. So I'm going to give a pass to this one. So for Arizona, you're getting Walter Nolan. This one's a pass. This guy's dangerous. He's just dangerous. He's just dangerous. There's a lot to like about him. He's not just like one of those guys that's like he can do one job. He can do multiple jobs and be successful at those jobs. So this is a pass for me, no doubt about it. So getting Stewart out of Texas A&M, there was a lot that he did. He's not like one of the most productive players out there like you could see on his pre-draft analysis. Stewart recorded just 11 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons. That doesn't like scream like, wow, this guy's so impressive. Like you got to get him. But a lot of times in college too, there's guys that like you don't see as much production out of them. And it's not because the guy is not productive, but it's because the guy's doing his job well. Okay. And he's one of those guys that I see. So to me, I got to give this one a pass because I do think there are ways that the Bengals can kind of open him up that Texas A&M couldn't quite do. And so I got to give you a pass on this. Yeah, there's enough there that it's like, yeah, I think you're getting a guy who is he's fierce, man. He plays pissed off. He plays very violent. He's a very violent football player. So I like what I'm seeing out of him. Pass for me. I like Gray. I'm going to give this one a fail, though. Not because I think he's going to be bad, but because I think there was a better guy on the board. That's the only reason. That is the only reason. He could still be good. You could still walk away and go, hey, we got a great guy. It was fantastic, but I think there's a better guy. And I think if you're going to look back in 5 years, you're going to say, yeah, we would trade him for that guy. I think there's a strong possibility for that. So I like what I'm seeing out of him. I do think he's a first-round pick, but I think that there was a better guy sitting there that it just doesn't make sense to me why you didn't pick him up. Buccaneers going with Emeka Egbuka. Easy pass. This guy is a coach. Okay. You're never going to hear drama with Emeka Egbuka. He's a businessman. Simple. He is a businessman. So if you're a Buccaneers fan, you're going to love this. He is going to be productive. He's going to be quiet. He's going to do his job. And he's not going to make it about him. He's a very selfless player. And I mean that. Very selfless. He came back to Ohio State and wanted to make a run with Ohio State. He could have went to the draft last year and got drafted in the first round. He didn't. He came back to be with his brothers and to make a run, and he did. He made that run. He fulfilled his promise and won Ohio State the Natty. He was a part of that. He was a big part of that reason. So Emeka Egbuka, the one thing I'll say about him, his talent is excellent. But what makes him even more than that is his attitude. And he handles his stuff, everything he does, like a business. And it's a business with high reviews. So I'm impressed with him. You guys are going to love him. You're going to absolutely love him. Double pass for me. Denver Broncos getting Barron. I don't think you can go wrong here. I think him or Will Johnson, I would give you a pass. And so I'm going to give him a pass because he's aggressive in all the right ways. He's a disruptor. He is just very annoying if you were to face him. He would annoy the hell out of you. And that's what I like about him. So definitely going to give a pass on this one. And you really just realize how dangerous of a draft class this was for D tackles. God, there were so many good ones. Pass on this one for getting Derek Harmon out of Oregon. I got to give you a pass. I think there's a guy better, but I still think so highly of Harmon that I got to give you a pass. He's a beast. He is a beast. So, yeah, pass. Steelers get a pass. You're going to love this guy. Now, when it comes to the Chargers getting Hampton, I think this is a fail. Not because I don't think Hampton's good. I think he's good. Okay. But I think you're going to look back and you're going to say these other running backs that were still there later, they are good too. And so for me, I think you overpaid. I really do. I think you overpaid on this one. So I'm going to give them a fail, not because I think he's bad, but because I think there's other ones that are still really good. You got Matthew Golden. I'm going to give this one a pass. I've not given too many fails on this. I am impressed with this class. Good. Yeah. Pass. Even if he doesn't pan out to the level that you may think he is, you got to take that chance on him. I like it. So, pass for me. Vikings draft Donnie Jackson. Absolute beast. Pass, double pass, quadruple pass. He was my best offensive guard. He could play anywhere on the offensive line and be successful. The best left tackle that was projected to be the number one left tackle in the entire draft class goes down with an injury, and Donnie Jackson has to replace him and play left tackle. And he's really a left guard. He can play anywhere on the guard, but he really fits well as a left guard. And he had to go play left tackle. And I'll tell you this, they penalized him for doing that. They gave him an 84 grade just because he had to go sacrifice and play a position he doesn't normally play. And not only did he play it well, he excelled at that position. And there is no Natty without Donnie Jackson. There's no Natty. Sorry, hate to break it to you. There ain't no Natty without him. And I don't understand how other teams didn't see this. Vikings, you just got yourself a monster, a freak of nature. None of these other guards did what Donnie Jackson did. None of them. They didn't do that. This guy's a beast. Vikings, way to go. I'm sure they were shocked that he was sitting there like, man, I can't believe they didn't get Donnie Jackson. The guy's a beast. New York Giants get Jackson Dart. I'm going to say this one's a fail because the only reason is I do believe he could be a good quarterback in the NFL. But I don't know what you saw in Jackson Dart that said he is that much better than the guys who got drafted way later than him. I don't see it. I do not see it. Do I think he's to the level of Cam Ward? No. Do I think he can get to that level? Sure. But I think a lot of these guys can. I mean, there's a lot of guys with potential. Everyone has potential. It's whether you reach that potential. But what I just can't get over is I cannot make sense of why they think he is that much better than quarterbacks that got drafted way later. Doesn't make sense to me. So to me, I got to give this one a fail. Not saying he's not going to be good. I'm just saying I can't see what they saw in him that was so much better than everyone else. We got the Falcons drafting James Pierce Jr. They really wanted to go defense on this. I like it. I'll give it a pass. Guy's fast. He's big. There's a lot to like from him. I think if you mold him correctly, you're going to get a really good player. And I think it's up to the Falcons on how good he's going to be. I really do. So I'll give it a pass, and we'll see how he pans out. We'll see how he pans out. He's obviously talented. There's no question. He's obviously talented. What level you can get him to, I really think it's up to the NFL franchise that he is on. Starks out of Georgia. I'll give this one a pass. I just think the Ravens, even if maybe you don't love Starks, I think you have to. There's a bit where you kind of see him go to the Ravens, and you're like, man, I've seen the Ravens turn so many guys that are good into great players. I've seen it happen with the Ravens so often that I think if the Ravens saw enough in him, I got to give him a pass on this. Because I've seen Starks play. I've seen his talent. I like what I've seen there enough to where you're going on a team like the Ravens. I'm going to give you a pass. Got to give you a pass. So anyone who knows Tyleik Williams knows that this was an absolute steal of a draft. Okay, Detroit Lions, if you're a Lions fan, you're going to love this. You're going to absolutely love this. Tyleik Williams is a freak of nature. 6'3", 334 pounds. And they graded him low, but I don't understand that because he did exactly what Ohio State asked him to do and is a huge reason as to why they won the Natty. Everyone talked about how dangerous Ohio State's defense was in the red zone. Not only dangerous, but legendary. Okay, they shut down Penn State with just 1 yard to gain. They shut down Iowa. They shut down Oregon. You name it. There was team after team after team that just had all these hog volleys, and they could not run just simply 1 yard. Well, one thing that doesn't make sense is he is single-handedly the biggest reason. Him and Caden McDonald were the two biggest reasons of why they couldn't run a single and gain a single yard. And yet they want to grade him low, which makes no sense to me whatsoever because they're like, oh, well, he's just one-sided. No, he's not. He did his job. Ohio State is not the same Ohio State when they had the Bosa brothers. They were running wide nines. They were asking him to get a crap load of sacks. They're not doing that anymore. That's not what they've been doing under Jim Knowles. So, and now Jim Knowles is at Penn State, and you're going to see the same thing there. He's not going to ask them to do more than what he asked Tyleik Williams to do because Tyleik Williams did his job and is why Ohio State hoisted that trophy at the end of the year. So, to me, that grade is bullshit. Tyleik Williams is a freak of nature. Go ahead and try to run on him. Good luck. Have fun. And when it comes to attacking, and creating that pass rush, he's going to do more than you think. He's going to do a lot more than you think. So, absolute steal. I love this pickup. Absolutely love this pickup for Detroit. Double, triple, quadruple pass. So, when it comes to Maxwell Harrison, coming out of Kentucky, going to the Bills, I like it. I want to give it a pass. I think his ability to create for the defense is phenomenal. Obviously, he has the speed. The guy is fast as hell. Very fast player. But I love what I see from this guy enough to where you got to take a chance on him. If you're the Buffalo Bills, I think this is a good pull. Definite pass here. I think you're going to like him, and I think you just have to take a chance on him. Philadelphia picking up Campbell, Alabama linebacker, 6'3", 235 pounds, decently fast, good pass coverage. There's a lot to like about him. I think he's going to fit into Philly nice, and I got to give this one a pass, without a doubt. So we got Josh Simmons going to the Kansas City Chiefs, triple pass, quadruple pass. A lot of guys had him as the number one left tackle coming out of this draft, and he didn't stay healthy. He had a kind of a freak injury, and that happens. And so he fell. And he ends up falling to the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs said, well, he is really good, so we're going to take a chance on him even though he was injured. And I do believe he's going to get back to full form. And when he does, look out. I mean, he's going to be incredibly dangerous. So Kansas City Chiefs, I think you're going to love this guy. I think Josh Simmons is going to do well for your team. I'm going to give you guys a pass. And this was a good first round. Anyways, let us know what you guys think down below. Who's pass and who's fail for you guys.